Okay, this is task 3, activity 3 of the Understanding Money unit. So this task is all about banking, and this activity is specifically about the difference between standing orders and direct debits. So the first thing we have to do is just figure out or research for ourselves what are the difference between a standing order and a direct debit. You probably will have heard these terms before. They both broadly mean the kind of same thing, but there is a subtle difference between them. Okay, so pause the video now and look up and write down a definition of what a standing order is and what a direct debit is. Okay, so hopefully you managed to find your own definitions for what a standing order and direct debit is. I'll write down my answers here as well. So a standing order is basically an instruction for a bank to send another account a certain amount of money in regular payments. Okay, so a standing order is an order for the bank to send money to another account in regular payments. So every couple of weeks, every month, every 2 months, that you decide how often that you do it. Okay, so the account holder, the big difference between a standing order and a direct debit is the account holder is the one who decides how regular the payments are, and they have to, if they want to change it, this cannot be done without the account holder's permission, basically. So the account holder decides how regular the payments are and any changes. Okay, so basically a standing order is just set. The bank, you set up a standing order. This is typically what you would do if you were sending money to, a friend or a family member, regularly. For example, your mum and dad, if they set up a standing order to give you kind of pocket money, for example, or give you money each week to maybe put in a savings account for you to save up, that sort of thing. That would be a standing order. They're just paying it into another account. They tell the bank, I want to, pay £100 from my bank account to person X's bank account every month. And if they want to change it, it will keep on happening until they decide to change it. Okay, to change how regular it is or the price of it. That's the big difference between a standing order and a direct debit. It's basically the account holder is in charge. A direct debit is what you would typically pay a company for bills and for anything like that. So for energy bills, for broadband bills, for your Spotify, Netflix memberships, Disney Plus, all these kind of things, they would usually, Xbox Live, that sort of thing is all usually paid for direct debit, and the company is in charge of whether they want to increase that or not. So they don't have to basically tell you. They can just start charging you more money and, without basically getting your permission. So that's the big difference between a standing order and a direct debit. So let's write down a definition for the direct debit. So direct debits give companies permission to take money from your account. So if you pay, your energy bills this way, or, a gym membership would usually be paid by direct debit, you're giving that company permission to take money from your account. Now, if you think about gym memberships, people might start that off at one price per month, say £10 per month, but it might be in the kind of fine writing at the bottom that is actually going to increase to £20 a month after, 6 months or after 3 months. Now, if you set up a direct debit, the company will just start charging you that extra amount. They might send you a kind of letter to say we're going to start charging you more, but they don't have to basically ask for your permission to say yes or no. They just will do it anyway. Okay, so the company can change the payment value without the account holder's permission. Okay, they will need to notify you that you're doing that. As I said, they will need to notify you, but they don't actually need your permission. They just need to tell you, I'm going to start charging you more. So a standing order, basically, you would usually set up between kind of people you know, between humans, if you like, family members. Direct debit is between yourself and kind of companies. So 2 questions to answer on that. So Mandy wants to set up a savings scheme for her son and she wants to pay £25 per month into the scheme. Should Mandy set up a direct debit or a standing order? So write down right now what you think. Do you think it would be a direct debit or do you think it would be a standing order for that? Okay, if you said direct debit, you picked the wrong one. It would be a standing order. So Mandy should set up a standing order. A standing order should be set up by Mandy. You can just copy my answer. So that Mandy can control the payments going into son's account. Okay, so again, kind of people to people, it would be a standing order. Number 3, Mandy also wants to pay her gas bill monthly and she knows that gas prices are going to rise over the next few months. Should Mandy set up a direct debit or a standing order? Now this is the opposite situation. She's paying a company, so she should set up a direct debit. And although I was maybe painting that a bit negatively, saying that the companies can charge you more without telling you. Well, what the good side to a direct debit is you don't actually need to do anything to make that change happen. The payments, if they do increase or decrease, it will just happen automatically. You don't need to continually go on to kind of change your payment plan like you would have to do a standing order. So that will just happen automatically. So the direct debit will mean Mandy's gas bill will be taken from her account automatically, and she does not need to take any action if prices do increase or do change, I'll say. Fortunately, most of it is an increase, but yeah, so standing order, really that's for something you would do set up between families. So Mandy would set up a standing order for a savings scheme for her son, but if she's setting up a gas a monthly payment to a gas company, that would be a direct debit.